Hey guys, welcome to example 2, section 3.4. Okay, so 3.4 is mostly application problems. So they call it models. Models means equations that you're going to write based on the information that are provided. So before I start this new example, I just want to tell you guys some changes that I'm going to be making in the classes. So, as you know, lately I have been giving you guys little note quizzes, and I have been counting it as a quiz score. Well, that's going to change right as of this video. I'm still going to give you a quiz, and that's going to be that will no longer be a quiz score. That will be a homework score. Now, in addition, it's so the first thing is, for example, the next class, I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to give you, I may or may not, okay? So I may not give you a quiz, or I may give you a quiz. So when I stamp this, that's going to be 5 points if I give you a quiz, okay? So it's going to be a homework score now. So if you get the quiz wrong, then it's your homework score for that day will be 5 out of 10. If you get the quiz right, then your homework score will be 10 out of 10. The reason I'm changing this is because I've noticed that students don't do the notes at all, and they just ask around, oh, what's the questions for the day, or what did Miss Tran-Bloom ask you during the quiz? And the students that actually listen to it, sometimes you forget, which is really not fair. Okay, so to make it fair, I'm going to do both. Stamp it, that's 5 out of 10. And then ask the quiz, and that's going to be another 5 points. So you can have 10 out of 10. So the quiz can be anything. As you know how to format the quiz. Can be what the joke is, what mistake was made, did I use a calculator. In addition, I'm going to now give you math problems that's related to that example. The whole point of the notes is to see if you understood it, okay, when you show up to class the next day. So I just don't want you to copy some random numbers, because when I saw notes from some of you guys, I think the majority of you guys do a great job, but some of you guys just copy stuff that don't even make sense. So when you copy your notes, make sure it makes sense, because I'm going to give you a math problem that's almost identical. So for example, I might give you a math problem instead of 1600 yards of fence, I'm going to change it to 1400 yards of fence to see if you understood what you took, the notes that you listened to. So you need to understand the notes, and if you don't, you need to ask me when we start class the next day. I don't mind taking time out to answer, what I went over in step 2 or step 3. But again, I'm not going to lecture the whole thing over again. I'm just going to answer, hey, why did I do that, or why did I not do it? Okay. So keep in mind that this is going to be now a homework category, and a stamp only counts as a 5 point, and you need to get the other 5 to get a full credit score. So no longer you can get 100% on your homework category unless you understand the notes and also listen to it yourself. All right, with that said, let's see how many examples we can accomplish today. So the first thing is example 2. A farmer has 1600 yards of fence to enclose a rectangular field. What are the dimensions of the rectangle that encloses the most area? Okay, so when you have fencing, or when you have piece of string, or when you have a wire, all of that is going to help you find the perimeter. Okay, so as you know, 1600 is the total perimeter, equals 1600 yards. And perimeter, based on a rectangle, it's adding up all the sides. So I'm going to have 2w's plus 2x. Okay, so 2w plus 2x. So it's kind of like 2 base plus 2 height, or 2 base plus 2 length. Okay, in this case they're using x and w. So the next, but I'm not really interested in the perimeter. It's asking us what are the dimensions of the rectangle that encloses the most area. So I want to know, hey, what can I what do I need to do to make the largest area for my garden or for my chicken or for my pig, whatever it is that I have to use this fence for. So area equals base times height, which is in this case x times w. Well, I have two variables here. As you know, lately, it's more difficult to solve an equation with two different variables. To have two different variables, you need two different equations to solve. So for us, we're going to rewrite the area in terms of x or in terms of w. You pick a variable and you go with it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my x, then I'm going to take out the w and substitute the w with something else. Well, the only other equation I have is the perimeter with the w in it. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 2w from both sides. So 1600 minus 2, subtract 2x from both sides, not 2w. I'm trying to solve for aw. So subtract 2x from both sides, so now I have 2w equals 1600 minus 2x. Then I'm going to divide each and every term by 2. So now I have w equals 1600 divided by 2 is 800. 2x divided by 2 is going to be x. So this is what w is. Okay. So substituting this w for that 800 minus x. So 800 minus x. And yes, you can write an equation for a of w. It doesn't really matter which variable you're writing it for. So area in terms of x equals distribute x times 800. It's 800x. X times minus x is minus x squared. So this equation right here is equation of area of rectangle in terms of x. In terms of x, okay? So from here, you can do it by hand, okay? So let's do it by hand first. I want the largest area. That means I'm going to have to find the vertex, okay? So because this is a parabola, as you can see, this is an x squared. It opens down because if I were to rewrite it in standard form, this is minus x squared plus 800x. So parabola opening down, so there's a max point which is called vertex. And to find the vertex by hand, okay? X equals negative b all over 2a. Okay. So if I were to write it again in order, it would be a of x equals negative x plus 800 x. So your b would be 800, and negative of that is going to be negative 800. All over 2 times. The first term, which is your a, is negative 1. So this is going to give me negative 800 over negative 2, which is a positive 400. Okay. So let's talk about what x is and what y is. Okay, so let's draw a little sketch. You're gonna have to label your x-axis, and x-axis is your x, which is your base. Okay. This is an a of x equals, so this is your area. Don't give me x and y, okay? This is a word problem that every word problem has a different context, so you have to label it based on the context that we're working with. So this is your base, this is your area. Right now, I know x is at 400. Okay, so let's just say that I'm going to go and put 400 in the middle. Okay, so here's 400x. And we know it's a parabola opening down. So now I know what the base is. Now I just have to find the w piece. So I can do it 2 different ways. Okay, so right now I know my base is already 400 because that's what x is. X is my base. So what is w then? Well, I can do it 2 ways. I can put x in this right here and find out what w is. So here we go. Find my base times height, so height 1600 equals 2w plus 2 times 400. 2 times 400 is 800, so I'm going to subtract 800 from both sides. So that's going to be 800 here equals 2w, and divide both sides by 2. W is going to be 400. Okay, so looks like the dimensions, okay, the dimensions of this rectangle, it's 400 by 400. Okay, and a square is also a rectangle, so we have to now write the answer. Dimensions are 400. You need to give me the unit of measurement, so yards by 400 yards. So this is my final answer right here. Okay. Now, on the homework or on the test, I can also ask you, hey, what's the largest area I can make? Okay. So the largest area, it's obvious taking the base times the height. Okay. Or once we have gotten an x value here in the vertex, to find the y value, which is the area, I can just put it back in here. So let's try it out. Okay. 400 times 800. Okay, so all you do is take the 4 times the 8. That's 32. And then you have a total of 4 zeros. So the largest area is when you're going to put in 400. Okay, oops, that's really tiny. Let's zoom in really quick. Okay, so when you put in 400 for the area formula, so that's going to be 32 with 4 zeros. That's kind of how you multiply it out quickly. Then 400 square. 4 times 4 is 16, right? And then 400 also has 2 square in it. I mean, 4 zeros in it. Okay, so minus 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 320,000. Take away 160,000. The max area is going to be 160,000 yards square. Okay. So this is finding the vertex. But if you have the dimensions, you can take them and multiply as well. So 400 times 400, it's also 1600. So the max area, I'm kind of out of space here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is loop this around above here. Max area is 160,000 yards square. Okay, it did not ask for it in this example, but I might ask for it during the test, or it's definitely going to be on your homework. Alright, this is the end of video number 1. I don't have any jokes today, so have a great day.